Good morning, everyone. We're going to get started in about 30 seconds, okay?
Good morning.
Well, we want to say good morning and welcome to everyone. Thank you for joining us with Ask the Expert. Just a quick announcement before we get started and rocking and rolling. This meeting is being recorded and it will be shared on our YouTube channel as well as our website, and it may be shared on other platforms. So just want to get that announcement out the way so that everyone has the opportunity whether to stay on or to exit. If you have a question, if you're watching via YouTube, put it in the comment section. We will definitely make sure that either I or our experts will respond to you promptly, and we appreciate you all for tuning in. So I want to say good morning to everybody. I'm excited. This is the month of October, and October has a lot of great things going on in the month. My birthday was on the 2nd, started the month off great. And, we have breast cancer awareness. We're bringing awareness to domestic violence, and we know that those efforts won't go unrecognized and unrewarded. So let's just dive in. We're on election season. And we're business owners. So prayerfully, if you are in business, you are paying attention to what is going on. And so I am blessed to have the opportunity to have a panel of experts that are going to share with us from their different areas of expertise. Trust me, it's like all across the board. We have a doctor, a mortgage broker, and an environmentalist. I mean, like, where did you get all that in one place to talk about something that would seem so remotely unconnected, but we are connected? So I am a tax professional, and everything that goes on around us does affect our business. So we're going to discuss that today. And prayerfully by the end of this webcast, you'll have some information, some insight, and some inspiration as well. So let's get started. Hey guys, hey everybody. Y'all can unmute yourselves, say hi to the people.
Hello, everybody.
All right, how's it going? Hello.
Hello, people.
All right, so y'all know that was just an audio test, right? Okay. I wanted to make sure we were full speed ahead before I got so started. And I got my shirt on today. I don't know if y'all can see it. I got my Let's Go Vote shirt on. And I do not have whether it's Republican or Democratic. I have the red and I have the blue, so don't y'all come for me. I am just advocating that we exercise our right, whether you are for this candidate or for that candidate. And I tell people all the time, I do have a party affiliation. However, I don't always agree with everything within my own party, but I am for the common good of everyone. I am a everyone people person. I truly believe that everyone deserves a second chance. Everyone deserves an opportunity. And so that kind of brings us to our foundation, the AK Legacy Foundation. We thrive on bringing things to our community so that everyone can have fair access or at least the opportunity to access different information. So our panelists that are here, they are here of their own time. They are not paid. We're taking donations, but we're not paying them, so just want to throw that in there. We're taking donations. So what we do here at the AK Legacy Foundation is we bring panelists together so that we can have a healthy dialogue. Don't worry, I don't think I'll have to mute anybody. Okay, so so all pun intended and jokes are intentional. So let's get started. So what I want to do first, I want to say who's on our panel, and then we're just going to get into some questions, some Q&A. We will let them give us some insight at the very end. But for right now, I'm going to kind of navigate through and guide this dialogue just so that we can make sure that we get the information out to the people. We have Mr. Joel Houghton, we have Dr. Dorothy, and we have Mr. Duran. And so if you take a look at the flyer, you can get the names of their businesses. We are going to let them come and give us their 30-second commercials in just a little bit. I tell everybody, a lot of times they say, well, why don't you just talk for them? Because I know that they know their business better than I, because I know my business better than anyone. So let's hear directly from them. That's just my take on it. We don't want to read some long bio. The people want the information and they want to know, can they trust the people that are giving it? So instead of, so this is a little informal, but we are so serious about everything that we're going to discuss here today. We are concerned about our communities. We are concerned about those that work with us. We're concerned about our clients and our customers. And so we want to make sure that we're doing our part. And I know that I speak for each of our panelists that are here today. I know these individuals separately, and I met them all through, matter of fact, I think I met them all. Well, I know I met Dorothy and Joel through the program, but I met Mr. Duran through Courtney, but through Courtney, we have all kind of channeled our way, and here we are. So kudos to Courtney if you're out there listening. We thank God for you. All right, so let's get right into it. So the AK Legacy Foundation, this is our website, aklegacyfoundation.org. You go there to get information, question, find out what it is we really do. A lot of times people say, well, what do you really do? I just direct them to the website. We have put together some great content, and I think that website speaks for us. So go to the website, check us out, ask your questions, make your donation. Right now we're doing raffle tickets for our youth. We're getting ready to have a youth Shark Tank in January or so, January, February. And we're going to be sponsoring those youth. Some of them already have a business. We're going to make sure that their websites are up to date. If they don't have one, we're going to get them one. Then they'll need marketing material. So go and check out and see what we're doing. We have women in business, and we also have, of course, Ask the Experts. And that's where we are right now. So let's get into it. We're going to let our experts introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about them, and we'll go from there. So we'll start with ladies first, and then Mr. Duran, and then Mr. Joel, and then I'll come back. So you guys go ahead and let the people know who you are and what's going on in your world.
Thank you for that, Candy, and for the opportunity to be on Ask the Experts. It's always a pleasure with you. I am Dr. Dorothy Nairn, and I have been in Louisiana. I live in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans in Assumption Parish. I have a business called Delta Builds, which is looking to recycle glass, pulverize the glass in the sand, and then provide jobs for people as we manufacture the glass to sell to the road industry, building industry, and to make glass beads for Mardi Gras. So we care about our people, we care about the planet, and we want to make a profit. Happy to be here.
All right, my name is Duran Delzy. I'm a broker and owner of the E Group. We are a real estate firm helping folks buy, sell, real estate, lease real estate. We're dedicated to helping our clients. We give personalized service, and we're all about making certain our clients reach their goals and maintain their budget. And it's really more about helping folks navigate a home purchases or commercial property will probably be one of the largest expenses they'll ever make. So we're here to try to help them along that path and steer them in the right direction. And it's an honor to be here. Thank you, Candy, for the invite on today. Looking forward to the dialogue.
Yes, thank you once again, Candy, for inviting us out to be a part of this. My name is Joel Holton. I'm the owner of JB Holton and Associates LLC, Restoration Environmental. We are a full service restoration and environmental services company located in New Orleans. We service the greater New Orleans area as well as the Mississippi Gulf Coast. We're doing a lot more in COVID related enhanced cleaning and disinfection right now. So if anybody needs any inside information on some of those things, and as far as products or services, don't hesitate to reach out to us.
All right, all right. And so I'm going to tell you guys who I am and what it is that I do. Well, at the AK Legacy Foundation, I am the founder, but I am also the coordinator of Ask the Experts, where I go out and I leverage my relationship that I've built over the years through my business, which is Martin Business Solution LLC. And I have been blessed to meet a lot of great business owners who truly do have integrity and that they care about the people that they serve. And this is not just a way for us to make money. We are concerned about our clients and our customers. We are here with a cause and a purpose. And we believe that God has given us a gift and a skill set that we must move forward with. And so in that process, just doing good business, we have been fortunate enough to be blessed to make profits, even though I don't know if any of us have arrived to our multi-trillion-dollar status yet. So we're just going to keep grinding and doing what we need to do. But along the way, we want to educate our community. We want to do the work. So through the AK Legacy Foundation, I have pulled in my colleagues, my co-workers, my co-laborers in this thing called entrepreneurship. And I have asked of them to give their time to come and share with the community of the AK Legacy Foundation. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our dialogue for today. This is going to be interesting. I have not prepped them. They have no idea. They're probably saying, Lord, what is she going to ask me? But that's okay. You know, that's just, I love the element of surprise and the authenticity of their answers. And I know that they're going to give us their truth. And so even if we agree or don't agree, this is going to be an honest, open, and transparent platform. And so let's just get started. All right. So the first question, how does politics affect our businesses? For me, I'll go first today, kind of break the ice. For me as a tax professional, a lot of times people don't understand every decision that's made in Congress, it affects the personal tax return. And I know when I say it affects your refund, I get attention, you know, people are listening to me. Yes. So when we put people in office on the local level, they go and advocate for the people that voted for them. At least that's what their job description is. So if you vote for someone that is all about putting money into education, for example, when there's a bill that comes across that says, hey, school teachers should get an extra $1,000 in their refund, you know, that would be something that they would vote for. And then in an election, if it passes, then it becomes law. Then it becomes something that'll be on the tax return where teachers automatically would get the $1,000. So that's just an example. Well, a true example is last year, the $500 deduction that we were given for teachers was off the table because that was something that Congress took out because the people that were in those positions didn't validate or didn't value the hard work that teachers do. So you have to be careful and mindful. It's not just about the president. It's not just about the mayor or the governor. It is always about those little things, all those boxes that you're like, who is this? I don't know anybody on here. You need to know who those people are and what they stand for because the decisions that they make represent us, and then it trickles down to the tax return. That's why every year when there's an election, it's like, oh my God, what am I going to have to change? You know, because when the party changes or the group changes, it affects the tax return because of course they're going to push for the things that they believe in, the things that they put a dollar value to. And you can't do everything for everybody. It's just going to be impossible. So somebody's going to be happy and somebody's not going to be happy. So be very mindful that the things that we do in our tax profession, it is decided mostly on what Congress passed as tax laws. Tax laws are real and they are to be governed by. So enough of that. That's a whole nother class. I can teach that in my tax class. So let's hear from Joel first and then I'll come back.
Well, I mean, I think we all know that this election cycle is very important on a lot of different levels. But one of the things I think people don't realize as much is that it's not just a presidential election. There are a lot of local seats and statewide seats and things that are coming up that are going to affect you probably more so than just the presidential election. But as far as business, one of the main things I'm seeing in my field is that a lot of different organizations, whether it be school or community organizations, they want to be able to provide adequate health and safety measures related to COVID-19, but they need the government to subsidize a lot of this cost because it's just an extreme cost. And maybe I come through and give them a proposal, and they're like, wow, that really costs that much? And it's like, unfortunately, yeah, it does. So what I would like to see is a better emphasis on the public health aspect of what's going on with COVID and now flu and cold season for people in lower income brackets to be able to, or organizations that service people in lower income brackets to truly be able to afford what those who are in higher income brackets can afford. You see what I mean? It needs, that playing field needs to be leveled out because it's not a political situation, it's a public health situation. And I think we definitely need to emphasize what really needs to be done to keep everybody healthy and safe across the board. And our politicians are on the front line with that. I mean, they're arguing right now about a stimulus package, which a lot of that will, feed money into these different organizations and schools and things to be able to adequately protect our youth and people involved in those organizations. So I just would like to see a lot of that move forward, for the health and safety of everybody.
Yes, and Joe, that is so key. A lot of times we don't realize that what where the funds come from, it comes from government funding.
Yes.
If we had to pay for this stuff out of our pocket, I mean, it just would be overwhelming for some because every business does not have this large stash of savings account. The vast majority are working on operating capital. That is their savings. That is their emergency fund. That is their light bill money. Everything is in one pool, one pot. And so we do rely on government help. And if the government does not take the COVID-19 crisis seriously enough, they will not put the funds behind it. It is so true. A man's heart is where his treasure is. So if he doesn't value it, he doesn't put the money into it. And so that kind of leads me up to Dr. Dorothy. So in your field, I know you could probably take a whole session on public health and how COVID is affecting us. So how is this affecting, the politics? How is it affecting your area of business? And kind of tell us what's going on in your world.
So politics affects everything for business and us as a civil society. So when looking at any commercial that's on right now, every single politician is saying something about jobs. Government isn't trying to create jobs. They want businesses to create jobs. So as businesses, especially small businesses, which are the generator for the entire country, especially now when we're going to need different interventions to jumpstart our economy, we need politicians just as much as they need us. And that's in terms of, the regulations that you also eloquently spoke about, and also just setting the tone, the mood, and putting money on the table. So as a small business, we've got the Small Business Administration that our local politicians will be able to help our interests or hurt our interests as small businesses. So it's hand in hand as far as how they work and how we work with them. What programs are out there, especially for small businesses or women-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses, so that there is an opportunity for us to be able to also eat at the trough. Most businesses that have made those millions and billions and trillions have done business with government. So we want to do that also. So they've got to do more than set asides. I look at the city of New Orleans, where there is a 35% disadvantaged business enterprise goal. So that's a lot. So how do we get some of that work? So we work hand in hand on so many levels. I love this topic.
Yeah, thank you. And so, Dr. Dorothy, if I can ask you really quick, you're in public health. And so do you see a rise of concern, or have people got lackadaisical, like, for the COVID and taking care and covering themselves, not covering yourself, and wear the mask, not wear the mask? So how is it now out there on the ground where you are?
People are wearing masks, and that's delightful to see. And so even the governor saying, look, we will have a mask mandate in this state. You could see the difference overnight when you had to don that mask to go into a store or into a restaurant. And if you look, we are one of 3 states this week, at least at the beginning of the week, where there's been a steady decline in our cases of coronavirus. So government guides that. So if there's a national strategy, which there should be, and most countries have national strategies as far as how to deal with any kind of public health crisis, such as this one, where we can look at the social distancing, we can look at wearing masks, and also looking at what to do in the case of schools or other public entities or private entities that all relate to the government. So it's important that we continue on that vein, but we have to have a national strategy. As big as the United States is, this country still needs a national strategy in order to actually have this coronavirus dealt with completely and once and for all. And no virus that we've had ever in history has been able to just go away magically on its own. It requires hard work. It requires fastidity by all of us, for all of us to do everything from the sneezing and the coughing into our, so it takes behavior change, but it also takes those policies and those practices and government working at every single level, including the federal level, to make a difference in this coronavirus. And just the mood, if we take it as a joke, then we're going to treat it like a joke. In Wisconsin and other places where I have a lot of family members in Wisconsin and went to school there, and to see how people just thought that was so funny. Ha ha, coronavirus. I heard all these great jokes. And now those people who were joking earlier this year some of them are in the hospital and a couple have perished. So it's serious and we've got to do something. Otherwise, we're going to continue on this roller coaster and not come back down and not be able to reopen our government.
All right, thank you for sharing that with us, Dr. Dorothy. Mr. Duran, in real estate, I know I think every topic has a subtopic that we could probably take a whole hour just talking about just that. So in real estate, how does politics affect it?
It's, as the previous panel members noted, politics affects everything. And especially when you get into the real estate market, politics has a major impact on it, from taxes, if you've got investment property, the type of property that you can go after, policies that are set from the lending institution, from Fannie and Freddie Mac. Those are all established by Congress. So having the right people in place makes a huge difference. I know there was discussion at removing the mortgage interest write-off, which is a major write-off for many business homeowners, and allows them to reduce their tax burden. That was on the chopping block at one point for Congress. So politics have a major impact on the housing market, even on lending policies. When coronavirus hit, with the stock market kind of being in a state of flux, they actually became more strict on how they handled the credit criteria for folks to qualify for loans. So if you had cash, if you had a certain credit score, the credit score was actually increased. I think it went from a 640 to about 680 under certain lending programs. So it has a major impact in day-to-day activities for real estate.
Right. And I remember maybe the last campaign, I can't remember, a couple of years ago, we had done everybody taxes, and we were probably like, well, not everybody, but we were in the month of March maybe, and they had already taken out the homeowner's insurance deduction. You couldn't claim that tax credit. And that's a big tax credit. I know Dawn can speak to that. That's huge for some people. In some cases, it made a difference if they were going to get a refund or not, based on claiming that insurance deduction. Well, they took it out, and I think this was during the Obama administration. They put it back. So let's just say we done 100 tax returns. We had to go back, call every person, say, hey, did you have homeowners insurance that you paid? And then we had to amend all those returns because they went back in and voted against it and put it back. So our politics does affect, it does trickle down. I just can't say it enough. And I think if people realize what elections do and the effect of politics, they'll start taking that even more serious. They'll start taking their voice to vote more seriously. Trust me, you start affecting people money, they'll start listening.
Yeah, and one thing to add, just even on the insurance side, a lot of homeowners have went out through the process, they found homes, and they weren't able to close loans because the federal government underwrites flood insurance. So there was a time where there was a gap in funding of the flood insurance. So you had a ton of loans just sitting there waiting on Congress to make the decision to fund a national flood insurance program. So that has a major impact. Just thinking about you're selling, you're trying to move, and Congress won't make a decision to proceed with funding the flood insurance program.
Wow, right. So people, y'all got to get out and vote and know what's going on in regards to the policies, not just the person. See what their policies are and see where they stand so that you'll know, hey, whether they're a Democrat or not, do I want to have this person representing me because, will they advocate for what I stand for? And so you won't know that unless you're reading their policies and finding out what they stand for, what is going to be. And like I said, they can't do everything. So find out what their main ticket is, the main thing that they're passionate about. At least start there and go with that, and then make your decision based on that. I just, not because you like them, you may not like them, but what are their policies and what are they going to really do for you, especially in regards to your business. And so, and don't forget, in your business, what affects your customers will affect you. So, kind of get it out there. Check in with your customers, check in with your clients. Like, hey, do you guys need any help? Do you need any services? Just put it out there. And if they need your services, they'll come to you and say, hey, can you find somebody that can help me read a ballot? There's people that still can't read. I know a lot of times they say, well, just Google it. Well, if a person can't read, Googling is not going to help them. So get concerned about what's going on in your community, because that is where your client base comes from. So we don't want to just be takers as business owners, and we need to be mindful of the policies and the politics that are getting passed, because guess what? If they get that stimulus check, where they're coming, they're going to come and patronize somebody's business. Is it going to be yours or someone else's? So that's just my little spiel on that. I'm not gonna, I can just go. All right, so let's talk about something kind of shifting just a little bit. I know this hour and 15 minutes is gonna fly by so fast, and we're gonna be like, man, we should have talked about this. We could have talked about that. We just can't get it all in. So let's talk about business mindset in today's world. And when we say today's world, we mean we got COVID, we have social injustice, we have politics, we have the election, we have the millennials, we have white supremacist group, we have those that are, hey, we don't like police, we like police. It's just breast cancer awareness. We got domestic violence. I mean, we got people that, we pray everybody going to heaven, then we got some who don't want to go to heaven. So we just got a lot going on in today's world. It is not, and then we have social media. Oh my God, everything is on social media. Everybody is famous and rich on social media. Then we have people that have negative credit, bad credit. It's just a whole lot going on. People are sick. People have transitioned due to COVID. We have people that still have cancer. Don't forget about that. That is still going on. We have healthcare, don't have healthcare. So there's a lot just in that. And we still have all the other things that we already had. Teenage pregnancy. We still have everything else. And so now in today's society, what is the business mindset? As a business owner, tell us how your mindset is, give us some tools on how to stay focused. How can we stay focused with all of these distractions? That's a lot. Just in that one sentence, that's a lot. So, Joe, tell us what's your mojo, what's your thing, what keeps you going?
Well, I would have to say, as being a Black man in business, there's a lot of focus for me, on the social injustice of things, the lack of opportunity, the lack of what I would say respect for a lot of Black professionals in any industry. And one of the things I try to focus on is the fact that I need to show up and be competent and be a good representation of my family in every situation, and to try to project positivity, because I just feel like if you stay positive, you'll attract positivity, and positive people be attracted to you. And you also must understand that everybody's not going to be your cheerleader. Everybody's not going to be your fan. It's just part of it. You have to have that self-determination to do something great or to do something better. And that usually comes from within, whatever your spiritual or religious beliefs are. It's important to draw upon that, and to focus and meditate from time to time on what things you can do better, as far as to kind of, a lot of times we have to block out a lot of the noise, and just keep pushing forward and staying focused, and understanding that you're not in control of a lot of things, and that you can only do your best, and really just jump out there and just do all that you can, and let that higher power do the rest, so to speak. So it's very challenging right now. I'm not gonna lie. I talked to my great aunt. She's 92 years old, and she told me that the racial tension right now is as worse as she's ever seen. And that kind of blew me away from somebody 92 years old. So it lets me know that she's very aware of what's going on, but also, like, how is it worse now than it was when you were my age? And she just says, we had a very intimate conversation of how bad it is. I also, I've got 4 relatives right now who have been diagnosed with COVID, 2 in Gulfport, Mississippi, and 2 in Chicago, Illinois. And I'm very worried about all 4 of them, because I know that we don't receive as much the same care as other people, so to speak. So it's just something that you have to really focus in on and understand. You can't control everything. Do what you can and stay positive. So those are my suggestions in this kind of climate.
All right. Thank you, Joe, for sharing. And our prayers are going to be with your family. And thank you for pointing that out. He mentioned that they're in Mississippi, they're in Chicago, and so this is not just something that affects us in our little corner, in our little patch of grass. This is something that affects our entire nation. So, like I said, our mindset as business owners, I had asked my pastor one time. I said, "So how do is it okay to advertise my business and my services when people have so much turmoil going around?" And so he just encouraged me. He said, "Keep doing what you're doing, because people need to get, they'll need the services. Life doesn't stop for us, and we have to just keep a mindset of providing good quality service, and like you said, just being present in the moment, and just being concerned about our environment." So, Duran, if you can tell us a little bit about your mindset. How are you getting through this as a business owner, providing services for your client, but still maintaining your personal sanity?
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge, and I think Joe hit on a lot of key points. For me, it's kind of remembering why, kind of going back to your foundation. And I think that helps you stay connected to what you're doing and why you're doing it. The reason I'm in real estate is I want to help people. I understand that purchasing a real estate is a key component of establishing wealth. our community has been disproportionately impacted by many of the policies and regulations that are in place, going back to, back to Jim Crow era, going back to redlining. I mean, so we face significant challenges. So if that's part of my driving factor, so by focusing in, helping folks acquire real estate and help build wealth, that's kind of my way of, I guess, really giving back to help do my part as a part of the movement. And then I think you got to stay positive, you got to stay focused, and it's really about building a brand where you stand for certain principles. You don't have to be an extremist, but like Chick-fil-A is one of my favorite places. They're closed on Sunday, and they're closed on Sunday because of the owner's belief that, hey, look, Sunday, everybody needs a day off. The owner's fairly religious. So I think there's a way for you to connect to the reason why you're in business and have your business reflect your beliefs without it being kind of extremely overwhelming. And I think that's the part that, as a business owner, I try to do, is to make certain that my brand really reconnects back and we're able to, to make all of that align.
Right. Staying true to who we are, at the same time staying focused on the business. And you mentioned the redlining and the Jim Crow. I did some studying on how and why we are in certain zip codes as a Black culture, and I was like, wow, we got to do something. And it's in the reading, and it's in the laws, and it's in the getting involved and finding out what's going on. So, Miss Dorothy, as a female, how are you dealing, since the guys have kind of, put their spin on it? So as a female, how are you dealing with the mindset in your business in this day and age?
So a few things. I'm having a ball, quite honestly, because just looking at racial reckoning in this time period that we're in, finally, this is an opportunity for us to reimagine what our world is going to look like, what our community is going to look like, and to tell our stories. So as a business owner, as a Black woman, and as a woman who's experienced racism, sexism, all of the discrimination that I have in my own life, we can tell our stories, and we can reimagine what this world's going to look like with us in it, front and center, and how we can build wealth for our community and for ourselves, and to be able to say that and embrace it. So to get by, sometimes I tune out and sometimes I tune back in. So I've been reading a lot. I've been with sister friends with poetry readings, just feeling that creativity and exercising. I've been walking. So I've been a part of a 50-mile per month club, and we all walk, not together, but just there are apps to do that. So there are so many ways to just reach in and grab each other, socially distance, wherever we are in different parts of the world, and just connect. So it's keeping those connections alive and well, reaching out to friends I haven't talked to, old roommates from different parts of my life, so just connecting and reimagining and figuring out, what do we want and what do we need and how do we get it and how do we self-care? So that's been so important in terms of staying together. I've got a new lamp that a friend sent me. It's called a friendship lamp. And you touch the lamp and it turns your color. And so then the other friends know that, okay, we're thinking about each other when we touch that lamp. So it's just to maintain our connections and take advantage of Zoom and to take advantage of all of these different types of technology while continuing in business. And some days it's just not going to come and happen, so it's like, okay, it's okay to feel that and to revel in that. So it's just day by day, but yet still continuously planning and strategizing and being gentle on myself and on my friends and others, so that we can, continue and sharing and just love. My first business was called Africa Loves Babies. I started it in South Africa, and remembering that, I've got all these baby clothes with African fabric that I looked at just the other day. So going back in order to go forward, and also to just, feel the joy and find it wherever it is and laugh. not a day goes by where I don't have, just not even like a half laugh, but a belly laugh. So surrounding myself with the people who help me to do all of those things.
Right. And it's, and I heard you mentioning that walking. I have been walking, exercising, since COVID. Prior to, I had taken like a year off of exercising, but COVID forced me to the shelter in place. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna need to get out and do something. So I've been walking. I've joined a couple of those groups online. One is called Move Something. One is by Coach Fab. She has just motivating, and I find doing those challenges as business owners. Y'all know we're competitive, right? And so, we want to be the one on the challenge with the most miles walked. We want to, hey, why you didn't walk today? So I find that that gives us a way to stay connected because we just keep it real in our DNA and our makeup as entrepreneurs. We want the trophy. I mean, we try to be all modest and humble about it, but we do have that competitive edge. So I do. I'm tickled by all the online platforms where people are tagging people, challenging people. There's so many challenges and forcing others. Someone is forcing us, and then we're forcing someone else. And so, as a business owner, I think we are bringing that edge, like, hey, like you said earlier, that they're going to need us to jumpstart this economy. And so we need to be in a position of keeping our minds healthy, keeping our spiritual walk intact, how that looks for you. We need to keep our bodies, well oiled, because I truly believe that when the dust settles, it's going to just be a burst of energy, and we're going to have to be able to keep up. If the travel industry, they're already anticipating the overflow, just running over, like they're not going to know what to do with all these people. Everybody's going to be on one plane almost, so the mindset has to be positive. It has to be healthy, even though we're going to recognize and not pretend that we don't have issues going on in our country, but we have to keep that mindset of planning, planning. This is a time to revamp. If you weren't satisfied with the way your business was going, hey, this is a great time to start over. Everybody's reinventing themselves. So this is almost like a way to get away with it. Okay, so if you need to start over, now is the best time to start over. Get the mindset of, I'm going to come out on this on the winning side. So one of the things, one of our next topics we're going to talk about is the importance of voting. We kind of touched on that earlier when we were talking about about how it affects our businesses. But what I do want to talk about in this segment is we oftentimes, and not necessarily on party, but just the importance of voting. As business owners, people tend to look to us as leaders, and we are leaders in our own right. We lead our clients. They trust us. They know that we're experts in our area. If I was to talk to someone about taxes, I'm sure that if they're a client of mine, they're going to take my advice. 9 times out of 10, they do exactly what I say and how I say to do it. But if I start talking to them about open heart surgery, they're going to be like, I don't know, Candy. I don't know if you know what you're talking about. But in my area, I know that I know, and I know what I know, and people trust me. So as leaders in our area, they also listen to us when we have social issues going on. So the importance of voting, I truly believe that our clients are listening to us. At least that's my hope and my prayer. So in your own words, in your own opinion, tell us personally, or if you want to speak to it from a business perspective, whatever way you want to, what is the importance of voting, and have you guys early voted already? So we'll start with Joe.
All right. Well, I think we all, or most of us, understand the importance of voting and the sacrifices that members of our community and our ancestors have given up to afford us the right to vote. My family personally, we have been very politically active, going back to my grandparents and my great-grandparents. We were very civically minded, very community minded, and we understood the importance of making sure that we put people in those positions who were going to help and reciprocate in our communities. And we always held them accountable. My Uncle Wilson Evans in Gulfport, Mississippi, was one of the forerunners to integrate the beach on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. for a long time, the beach was segregated. Blacks could only go into certain sections. And him and my grandmother on my dad's side worked very tirelessly to make sure that the beach was integrated. So even as a young child, I would hear these stories of how they would have to go and do sit-ins and protest and get beating and getting arrested. So that these are family members of mine. So it gave me that social awareness very early in life, to be active in my community and also to look out for my own first. So there's been tremendous sacrifice given over the years by our ancestors to afford us this right to vote. So it's our duty to keep that moving, but also to hold those politicians that we do put in place accountable. You know, hey, you said you were going to do this, you were going to do that, and you can't hold anybody accountable unless you know what they stand for and know what their principles are, know what they're running on. So that's why I say local elections are probably as important, if not more important, than the presidential election, because that's going to affect you a little bit more in your everyday life. And you're going to be able to come into contact with those politicians a lot more often than you would, let's say, the president or some senator in Washington. So just in my family alone, we've been very civically minded. So it was kind of embedded in me early to be aware and to exercise your rights to vote, but also to vote in a sense that would help the greater good of the community, not just my own personal interests.
Right. And it's, I thought about when you were talking, have a lot of people that have not done the census. And I'm not sure if you guys may know the answer, and I'm not sure if they're still taking them or not, but I did it like early on. And I remember having a conversation with someone else, like, well, I don't know why we got to fill it out. So look, you think about it like this. If you have a dozen of donuts, you wouldn't bring a dozen to a classroom where there's only one student. So you would just probably get 2 donuts and bring them in a little bag and give it to that one student. But if you know you're going into a classroom where there are 10 students, you're going to want to get a dozen of donuts so that they can have more. Well, when you don't get counted, they look at your classroom as only one student. And so they're only going to bring you enough supplies and enough water and enough this and that for that one person, where you may actually have a community of 10. And so what happens is when we don't get counted, we don't get the funds allocated our way. Why would I put $1,000 when they only need 100? Well, in actuality, we do need $1,000. Well, they don't know that. And if they do know that, they're going to use the numbers to their advantage to shift the extra funds that we didn't use and put it somewhere else. So if you go in certain neighborhoods, certain zip codes, you can see where the tax dollars are being allocated. Trust me, they're not paying for those nice streets. They may have some part in it, but trust me, a lot of that is government funding, and it's coming because they're being counted, they're being active, they're holding their politician accountable. Hey, you said if I put you in office that you were going to let this permit get passed for me. The decisions are being made on the golf course because they're reading the laws, they're finding out what's going on, they're going to the meetings, to those boring town hall meetings that we don't want to go to. That's where decisions are being made. Who's showing up? Who's being counted? And so it's very important that it's not just on November 3rd, but it's all through the year, that they know that, hey, if I get into office, to keep myself in office, I have to do what I told the people that I was going to do. So I heard the word accountability in there. I heard being counted, letting it be known that we're here. Some of the things have changed. We don't have to do a lot of what we did in the 60s, but there's a lot of things we do have to do that we did in the 60s. We do have to show up, and we have to show up in numbers. And how do we do that? We get counted. We make sure we fill out the census. We make sure that we vote so that they can count our vote. Whether we win or not is not the answer. The thing is, they're counting us. They're saying, well, only 10 people voted, so that don't matter. We're going to go over here where 20 people voted, and we're going to put the money there. So vote, get counted. I'm very passionate about that because a lot of people just feel like, hey, well, we didn't win. Well, did you at least vote so we can get counted? So that's just my spill on it. So Dorothy, tell me what voting, how is that going for you? If you want to share your personal experience. I know when I did early vote, I was in line maybe 40 minutes, so it wasn't that bad. So kind of tell me what's going on, in your regard, your perspective or your opinion on voting.
I think we have rights and we have responsibilities. Voting is our responsibility. And those of us who have the right should exercise it for sure. So I've been seeing so many different memes about, vote, it's your right, or vote because we can't. And even people from other countries saying, please vote for us. We don't have a say, but the United States is such an important country as far as the environment's concerned, as far as the global economy's concerned. So people are saying, look, we can't vote, but you can, please think about other countries within the world as you vote. And the voting down ballot is, just as Joel said, so important, where we almost need to start at that end. So if you look at the ballot here in Louisiana, we've got 7 amendments that are there that could change the Constitution, that will change the Constitution or keep it the same. So it's so much on that ballot. And I voted on Friday and it felt so good. It's just such a important feel after voting, especially knowing that family members could not vote for years and years, or they had to jump through hoops, like spell particular words, or, sing the national anthem backwards, or just the different things that the Electoral College had them do in local areas that were just discriminatory. So to know that I can go and vote was essential. But even beyond that, I look at my civic duty, and I'm a member of Together Louisiana. So on Saturday did canvassing, because I'm a block captain, and had to contact at least 10 households in my area and ask them, are you voting? If so, and it's nonpartisan. So just as you said, it's not who you vote for, but with those amendments, very much like informing people, what are those about? What does that mean to you, to your life, and how will it enhance it? Because it's all about improving the quality of life for our people, for our neighborhoods, for ourselves, for our businesses, for our state. So there's a presentation that's looking at, if Louisiana is such a rich state in terms of industry, why is it such a poor state in terms of outcomes on people? So how do we turn that around? So I think it's our responsibility, and I know I take my responsibility as a citizen, as just a family member, very seriously. So voting is essential, and everyone that I know in my family, we voted one by one. And we didn't get our stickers, but we voted, and we have that source of pride. I don't know why we didn't get stickers this year.
Yeah, they were saying health reasons, whatever, but okay, we'll let them have that. Everybody's gonna ride that COVID excuse. Trust me. I know. Kind of a sidebar. Some people still haven't received their stimulus or their refund checks, and it's across the country. It's not just here. But I have some clients, and then there's some clients, some of my other tax preparers friends, and one of the ladies, she said she told the IRS when they told her the other day, they was like, well, we're dealing with COVID. She was like, look, we're going to McDonald's getting hamburgers. We know somebody can go in that office and process these returns. So they're riding this COVID wave, baby. They're gonna ride it till the wheels fall off. So that has been affected. Yeah, we know everybody had to shelter in place and go home, and but hey, we need y'all back in the office. I don't know, y'all need Chick-fil-A to come show y'all how to do social distancing. I don't know, but we need that money rolling out. That was just too funny. But I thought about what you said. But on a more serious note, when you said that our people before us, all the things they had to do to vote, they had to be able to sing the national anthem backwards. They had to know I know one person said they had to know the names of the president's wives, of all the presidents before. And we're like, we don't even know who is the wife now. But anyway, so it's like, that was so unfair. And so when we don't vote, it just, to me, it's like a slap in the face for all the sacrifice for those that went through so much so that we can vote. And I think a lot of times it's lack of knowing what the power of voting is and understanding the process of it. someone said, and I don't know who, and it was someone said recently, they said, history not revisited is history repeated. And so I know our youth don't know as much about history as we did. I know coming up, I was wanting to know who was Malcolm X, what did he do, who was Rosa Parks. I remember writing the Black history essays and doing all that stuff. But the children today, I don't see that as much as we did when we were coming up. I remember I wanted to do a Black history program or something, and my history teacher didn't want to do it. So I went over her head and I talked to the principal, where she was very, very upset with me, to the point where my mom even had to come to the school and have a sit down conversation. I said, I just wanted us to do a play. I know y'all doing Shakespeare and all that, Romeo and Juliet. Let's throw in some Black history plays. And so I don't see that much now. And so I just wonder if we don't revisit our history. I don't want to use the word fearful. I'm going to use the word concern that we're going to repeat some of it. So Deron, what is your take on voting and the importance of it?
Well, kind of building on your McDonald's example, right, or Chick-fil-A. I mean, nobody would go to Chick-fil-A and just let them, or McDonald's, and let them take money every week without saying something. Hey, I want a Big Mac, right? Give me a shake. Give me my cookies and cream milkshake. Essentially, when you don't vote, I don't think people realize that you're paying taxes every day. Your voting is your voice for where your dollars go. And I think we've got to put it in that perspective. You're just going to give your money away and not have any input on what happens to your dollars. So that's one perspective. The other thing is that you got to have a seat at the table if you want to make change. Staying at home and complaining really doesn't do anything if you're not going out to the polls to vote. And the Dr. Dorothy highlighted something. There's been tremendous effort and a struggle for us to get the right to vote. And you have to ask yourself, why is that the case? Because the way our system's set up, there's extreme power in us going out to the polls to vote. So I think if we understand the power that we harness by going to the polls in masses and the impact and the change that can be made by your vote, folks will be more likely to get out and go vote. And not just for the national election. Joe hit a key point. It's for local elections, right? We talk about social injustice, our challenges with the police departments. Well, it's the DA that you elect in many cases are determining whether charges are brought against officers or not, and how folks are handled when it comes to the justice system. So it's imperative that I think we get out and vote. I did early vote. I only stood in line for about 20 minutes. There was no stickers, but yeah, it was liberating to know that, hey, my vote matters, and to see the lines of people to go vote. We stand in line for a myriad of things, crazy things, but to see folks willingly stand in line.
Those new Jordans dropping.
Right. Concerts, you name it. Saints games, we go stand in line. Right. So it was refreshing to see folks out, not just here, but all across the country casting their vote. So I think the message and importance of voting is getting out there.
Yeah, and I do want to say that, in my opinion, this is a Candy Martin opinion. I believe that for the most part, I would say the vast majority, we're about unity. Even though we may have differences, I truly believe that humanity as a whole, we're about unity. And it's just those few handful that keep up all the record, keep up all the noise, that give the appearance of discord and despair. I truly believe that it's hopeful. I just, to wake us up and to not be complacent, but it's not all doom and gloom. There are a lot of good things going on. Business concepts are blowing up. People are getting creative. They're being forced to use that God-given talent. We are coming together, networking. Our businesses are taking advantage of some things. We're not going to even talk about the PPP and how that all went, but some of us got some of it. So hey, we just going to start looking at the positive of that. But things are going to me, they're not where they need to be by far. Nothing about this whole handling of the COVID situation. I'm sure we could have gotten together and probably did a better plan than what we got. I mean, it's it's just not a good look, but that's not all. We do have good people that are advocating, that are pushing it, that are trying to get things changed. And so it is so very important to vote, and just to know how many people early voted. I mean, the numbers were like through the roof. I think they were saying for us locally, let's just say we had 25 people early voted last year. Now we got 1,000 people. So it's just the difference in the numbers. And I'm not a statistical person, so no, I didn't do the research to find out how many people voted and all that. You can Google that yourself. But I do know that when I went in that line to my husband and I, we went to early vote. I was like, wow, it was just, I felt like I was taking part of history. And so I encourage everybody to get out and vote, just to be in the process of, forget about the politics for a minute, but just to be in history in the making. This is going to be in textbooks. Trust me, this whole last 4 years is going to be in some textbooks. I mean, there are going to be so many books next year on how they survived COVID. I can see it now. The bookshelves are going to be flooding. So be a part of history. Get out and vote. Exercise your right. And we just can't say that enough. And as business owners, we do have, like Dr. Dorothy said, we do have a responsibility, because we are leading people and we want to make sure that we're informed so that we can give them better information. So I just want to take a minute before our guest panelists come back. They're going to give us some advice, tips on our business as we close out 2020, get us prepared for 2021. They're going to give us some tips and some strategy in their areas of expertise. So I just want to bring everybody's attention to the announcement. Women in Business, our annual conference is this Saturday. Yay! Like, I should have had a balloon drop. But we have this conference every year. Sorry, guys, ladies only. But it is for, we get together, we have business strategies, we have marketing tips, social media, tax tips, branding. Like I said earlier, everybody, this is an opportunity to rebrand. If you always wanted to be a unicorn, this is your chance to be one. You can get in there and just rebrand yourself. We're going to talk about business credit, personal credit. It's going to be Saturday, and it's going to be online. This is an event that we normally would have in a classroom setting, but due to COVID, we're online. And I thank God for the creativity for us to be able to pivot, to get online and to put this together. So I have an amazing group of business owners that have taken up their time to come and share with us from all across the country. So one good thing about it, they didn't have to get on a plane, so, hey, this is going to be awesome. It's going to be 8:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. and it's going to be central. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. On next week, Ask the Experts, we are going to, I don't know how I'm going to get through this show without laughing. These are some people that have they have the greatest sense of humor, even though they're business owners, and they are kicking it. They are kicking butt in their industry. We're going to have Felicia and Max Perry. They are fitness gurus, and they are veterans, and they are Purple Hearts, both of them. Isn't that something? And so we definitely know that we can learn something from them, and especially in the area of voting. We're going to mention that from a military standpoint. We're going to find out what they think about it. Then we're going to have Darla and Felicia. They're out of Dallas, Texas. She is a celebrity chef, but she makes you feel like, she's in, grandma's kitchen. She, even though she's up there with the big name, she's going to come and just be with us. And her husband is a graphic designer. And I'm sure that he has been printing up some shirts with the slogans and things that he's been dealing with since this whole thing started. 2020 has been a year. So join us next week as we talk about fitness and relationships in business. And then on the 4th, we're going to talk coffee and conversations with Miss Natasha. So if you have a job and you're in a career and you're in corporate America and you want to excel well, you definitely want to tune in. She's going to give some tips, and business owners, don't skip out on it, because trust me, the information she's giving, if we just apply a little bit of it, we can see our business go to the next level. So we're taking donations at aklegacyfoundation.org. This allows us to be able to bring these great shows to you guys, to be able to come across the airwaves and share the information with you all. And y'all, I'm just excited. I truly thank you all for taking the time to be here today. It's like I have a whole list of questions, and then they all go out the window once I get on here. It's like almost like I'm starstruck. Like, hey, so-and-so is going to be on the show, So, hey, I'm excited. So our experts are going to give us some advice in regards to business And like I'm in the tax industry, Joel is in environmental, Duran is in real estate, Dr. Dorothy is in public health, and also in recycling and taking care of our, our taking care of our global warming stuff. I mean, I'm sure that's somewhere in politics, hey, they're not taking it seriously. We having all these fires and things like that. So enough of that, but they're gonna give us some business advice on how we should close out 2020 and prepare for 2021. Y'all, we are less, I want to say maybe about 45 days out. No, 65 days out, possibly somewhere up in there before the new year. This is just going super fast. So, any last minute miracles you got, that we can do, some Hail Marys we can throw, to kind of end 2020 on a great note. We'll start with Joel, and then we'll have Dr. Dorothy, and then Duran.
Yeah. My biggest thing, as we close out this year, each year when we get to this fourth quarter, what I try to do is take a step back, look at what I did right, look at what I did wrong, and look at what I can improve on and strategize to do that going into the new year. So that's definitely a major topic in this year, because what I realized through COVID is that technology is going to be the key to scaling and growing in my field. How can I incorporate different technologies into the services that I provide so I can reach into more markets? What kind of strategic partnerships have I made this year that can allow me to work in Dallas, that can allow me to work in Atlanta, that can allow me to work more on the Mississippi Gulf Coast? These are specific strategies that I've tried to implement in order to grow and to scale my business. And sometimes you just got to take a step back, look at your wins, look at your losses, and look at how you can do things better and develop better systems going into the next year. Instead of just plowing, you have to take that step back to understand, like, hey, what worked, what didn't work, what can I do better, what do I need to work on moving forward? So that's one of the strategies that I try to put into play at the end of the year, this fourth quarter. And and then also reaching out to those, I suggest to everybody, get a mentor, get a coach, get somebody who knows a lot more about what you're trying to do, who can guide your steps without you having to make all those missteps. And I have to say, in working with the Urban League and the individuals there, they have been very instrumental in me being able to see things that I couldn't see because I'm so busy in the business. They've helped me develop strategies and approaches that I see will definitely pay off going into 2021. So those are just some of the things that I try to do personally in my business to make it more successful and moving forward.
All right, thank you. All right, take that advice, you guys. All right, Dr. Dorothy.
My advice would just be to keep on moving. I had a friend who has a great job and was just so exhausted because after working for this particular job for maybe 23 years, he was forced to retire because he didn't own the company. So yeah, he may have a bigger bank account than I do, but he was just like, I am so, just sad, he said, because he didn't have a business to fall into. So those of us who do have businesses are fortunate that we have those businesses, and to push that, and owning something is the way to create the wealth that we're talking about and to create jobs for others. So forge on. And as Joel said, keep planning. And this quarter in particular, reflecting on what happened and then looking at reinventing ourselves and rebranding ourselves and reimagining. So it's almost like this pause that we've had, just to hold on to it and to blossom. We're all in a cocoon of sorts. So we're going to be butterflies. So do whatever we need to do to be as fly as possible, to fly as high as possible, and to make as much of a difference and impact on people's lives. So that's what I'm ready for. So if we didn't think 2020 was it, then 2021 and 2022 and 2023, because we're going to have some time and we're going to make a difference, and we're going to make all of the wealth and impact on people's lives and on our communities. So I see sunshine and blue skies ahead.
All right, thank you. That's right, that hope and positivity. Mr. Duran?
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. So I guess, when you look back at history, out of some of the greatest challenges, the Great Depression, following 9/11, and even some of the major wars that we've had, those are the periods in which some of the greatest wealth and entrepreneurial ventures actually started. So as you look at 2020, it's like 2020 didn't turn out to be what no one anywhere ever expected it to be. So I think it's important to reflect on 2020 and to remain positive by understanding that while 2020 didn't turn out the way I wanted to, if I look back at what history tells me, because success always leaves a clue somewhere, that 2021 and the years to come can be transformational in terms of your individual lives. And I think Joel hit on a key point. It's kind of those three questions. What can I do better, right, to lead me toward my goals? What am I doing now that I need to, what am I not doing right now to help me to move into the future? And then the last thing, what am I doing that I need to stop, right? Because there's some things that we're doing that aren't helping us go toward our goals. I think if we remain positive and start planning for 2021, focusing in on those three goals or three questions, I think that'll help us as we go into the next year. And then really, we are often looking at improving ourselves, but we got to take time to celebrate our many successes and be grateful for the opportunities that we have and that we've accomplished. I think that's key in helping us kind of recharge our batteries and get ready for the next round.
All right, Dawn, before I get back to, tell us about those nice paintings behind you. That's awesome artwork. I mean, I'm sorry, but
So I can't take credit for that. That's all Courtney's work. I think I have one painting and it's in the corner, kind of like my clothes in the closet.
Okay, yeah.
The corner. But these are all Courtney's that she did. And I think it's at the Wine and Sip or Sip and Paint or something like that.
All right, Courtney, go Courtney. That's what they say. Behind every man, there's a great woman. But beside every man in our case, she is definitely a jewel to be treasured. So kudos to Courtney. That's some awesome artwork. I didn't know. I was like, okay, you got something else going on in case real estate don't work out. I mean,
No. That's all her. I'm not really artistic.
Okay. All right.
Paint in the corner.
Your paint, yeah, right along with the little patch of closet space you got. I get it. Hey, I'm on her side on that one. We would prefer for y'all to have a whole nother closet and a whole nother part of the other house, but we just trying to, be, troopers and let y'all share, all this marriage stuff.
So Candy, I will throw in there, speaking of other closets, right? And
okay.
From a business perspective, right now we're at historically low interest rates, where your dollar, if you're in the home market, can go a lot further than it ever has before. Historically low. If you go back into the 80s, interest rates were in the double digits. Compared to now, we're at 2.5%. So for folks that are interested in doing something as it relates, getting that bigger closet, realizing that their home's not big enough after everybody been crammed in there for 6 months, it's a perfect time. And then to complement historically low rates, it's a seller's market. So houses that have come on the market are not lasting. I've got a ton of buyers and no inventory. So just to throw a plug, as you plan for 2021 and you want to transition to a new place, now's a great time to do it.
All right, thank you. That's right. Put that plug in there. Dawn, tell us how can people get in touch with you?
I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, Duran LZ, and then you can also go to our website. We have a free guide there at theegroupllc.com.
All right. Hey, take advantage. One of the things that I teach in marketing and, with my clients is to take advantage. If you get an opportunity to showcase your business, be prepared to tell people about it. You never know when that moment will come. So my bit of advice for closing out 2020, getting ready for 2021 is to make sure that we're making the plans, we're writing it out. I'm a big fan of writing things down. When we write things down, it gives us a way to reflect. It gives us a way to make corrections, because when you write things out, you're like, I don't know if I want to do that. And when it gives us an opportunity to be held accountable, because if it's a written document, it becomes a contract, it becomes law. And so make an agreement in a law with yourself, make a contract with yourself. Hey, these are the things I'm going to do in the last 90 days, and these are the things I'm going to prepare to do for 2021. Put it out there, put it on the wall, make it a reminder, hold yourself accountable. And when you hold yourself accountable, you don't have to worry about others making you accountable. But speaking of accountability, get an accountability partner. If you know you're lackadaisy in an area, for example, my walking partner is really my accountability, because if it was up to me, I probably would roll over a couple of mornings, hit the snooze button, and I wouldn't do walking. But knowing that I have someone outside, she always beats me. She's outside waiting on me, so I have to get up. So if you need an accountability partner, get one. Get those goals done. And one last piece of advice that I would give is like what Duran said: reflect on the things that we have done positively. Don't be so hard on ourselves. I mean, gosh, we're our own worst critic. I mean, it's just never good enough. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But as an entrepreneur, we just have these big minds, big visions, and we want everything, we just, we're blessed with the vision. But we do need to appreciate the journey along the way. Reaching the destination is just a part of it, but the best part of it is the journey, the people that we'll meet, the lessons that we'll learn, the changes that we'll make along the way. Take it in, enjoy it. So I want to tell everybody, if you're interested in any of our guest panelists, you can go on our website and find more about their information. Don't forget about the Women's Conference. I want to invite everyone. Guys, y'all don't have to sponsor somebody a ticket or something. Do what you got to do. But no, you can't come. And we are going to have a blast without you guys. So I want to invite everybody, to come out and support the Women's Conference. And like I said, you can watch it from anywhere. But I do want to encourage everyone that is watching. We just want to say thank you guys for taking time out of your day to watch Ask the Expert. And we're going to see you back here next Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And we're going to have some great shows lined up throughout the rest of the year. And 2021, like Dr. Dorothy said, you guys ain't seen nothing yet. So go out and vote if you haven't voted. And I'll see you guys again. Love y'all. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all.